Hi there, I'm going to do a quick lesson on how to trade, how to set up your indicators on TradeView, and how to use the cradle strategy, which is the main strategy I use that I found from tradercobb. You can find it at tradercobb.com. There's a free course there and it's really good. Okay, so I'll just show you. Once you set up your TradeView, you go over to here to indicators. I'm going to type in moving average and get the exponential. I'm going to put two of those in. Then I'm going to go over here, change that to 10. And I'll change this one to 20. And I'll change that color to purple. Yeah, make it a little bit thicker. I might make this yellow. A little bit thicker. Okay. So there your moving averages. That is the moving average of the last 10 candles, and that's the moving average of the last 20 candles, depending on what time frame you're on. So if you're on the daily, this line would be the average price of the last 10 candles. So there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the average price of that last 10 candles. You see it's gone up and down, whatever. Okay, and then the other indicator you're gonna want to add is the MACD, and I'll just leave the default settings for that. All we want with the MACD is to make sure it's confluent with the price. So here you can see it is confluent with the price. If the MACD was going down, the price was going up, it would be divergent. So that's all we use the MACD for, to make sure it's convergent with the price. Okay, maybe what I'll do a quick little lesson on trend. Okay, so let's say the price is doing this and then it goes up and then like that. A lot of people go, wow, look, it's in an uptrend. I mean, it's uptrending, but it's not in an uptrend because you've got a higher high and one pullback. For it to be a proper uptrend, we'd have to have another push on and another pullback. So that's an uptrend. We have two high highs and we have some two high lows. So that's an uptrend. So you want to make sure that you see that happening on your chart to confirm it is in an uptrend. And of course it's going to vary depending on your time frames. So you generally want as many time frames in confluence with each other as you can, or at least two. So on to trading the cradle strategy. You want to find an uptrend and then you want the price to move back down in between the two moving averages we have, which is called the cradle. On the daily here, you see it's sort of come in, it's touched here, and then it's gone back up. So it's quite overextended. If you go into the lower time frames, you can see it's starting to get a little bit more messy, but it's still pulling back and then launching back off. That's a not bad trend. So what you want is the cleaner it is, the better the trade. So here, I guess it's come back in, it's pulled back into this zone. It's come back here, it's sort of pulled back in. Come back here, pull back in, pull back in. So it's still a little bit messy on this. What's the 12-hour chart? So if the price can pull back here, and then we can get a little candle, say a little green candle there, then we would say, okay, that might be a trade worth considering taking. Okay, we want to, let's try and actually find an example of what I'm looking for. Oops. See, this is kind of just gone straight up. We need to have it come back down, go back up again, come back down, go back up again. That's the sort of conditions we want to see. Um, we can probably find things like that on the lower time frame. So you can see here on the 15 minutes price has pulled up, but this isn't the greatest trend on the 15 because we just got sideways sort of action, and it has pulled back in here. And I mean, somebody might have taken this trade, but it is a little bit messy. Let's look what ADA's doing on lower time frames. It looks like we've had a bit of a pullback quite recently. So a lot of things are a bit overextended, but they've pulled back in now. Balancer. That's a little bit messy for my liking. We got some big wicks there. Let's go to 30. Yeah, still messy. Bat. Okay, we've got to pull back into the cradle, but we have this wick which is going to be messy because we've got to figure out where we're going to put our stop loss. Because you could put your stop loss, let's say that candle finishes, and you could put your stop loss here, but that's not that safe. You'd probably want to put it here, or at least below the previous candle close. So you can see here that the price isn't confluent with the MACD. We've got a higher high here, a lower high here. So that's basically not going to be tradable. Let's start moving down. BNB. Let's go to the 4 hour. Because we were having some trades on the 15 and 30 minute this morning, but things are now overextended and they're starting to pull back. So I'm going to start going up the higher time frames a little bit. Start seeing if we can find a trend. So this is a little bit of a trend. We've got to push higher, pull back, push higher. It's pulling back. So sometimes we just got to wait. Got to be patient. BNB, a little bit messy. We'll just skip over BSV. That's a bit depressing chart to look at. I haven't done much trading on BSV because the trend's been atrocious, but I did get a breakout here because it was tapped here, tapped here, tapped here again. So I took the trade. I had a pretty wide stop loss and not a big position because I did suspect it would do something like this. But I managed to get a fill and I sold somewhere up here. Yeah, 178. I then waited for the price to pull back to 160. I posted that on TradeView and it managed to pull back. And I'm still kind of in this trade at the moment, but it's just been consolidating. There's not too much to say about it really. So hopefully it just keeps pushing on. Bitcoin really is the one that's been trending well. But I haven't really been taking too many trades on it because the upside potential on the alts is usually better, but the BTC dominance has just been absolutely macking it. But it is starting to come down now. Let's go back to the 4 hour here. I'm not seeing too much there on dot. Still a little bit messy. Let's zoom in a bit. No, it's got too messy now. Okay. No. 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 Hang on. Let's go back to the 4 hour. Okay. EOS. Wow. That's on a bit of a tear. 2 hour. Messy. Yeah, there's just nothing there. You could try it. Yeah. There's no real trend. We have got a push higher and a pullback. What we kind of need is another push higher, another pullback, and that's when we might find a bit more trades. Ethereum Classic. Yeah. What's happening here? The trend is just not smooth enough for my liking. That's a little bit better. Need a push higher and then, okay. We do have a little bit of divergence here. Let's see what the 1 hour looks like. But if we do go to the 1 hour, you see it's getting back to being convergent. But it kind of rules out taking a trade on the 30-minute. So maybe the hour's something to keep an eye on, but the trend's just not the strongest. Ethereum. Let's have a look at these lower time frames. Yeah, the MACD's getting divergent. So it kind of looks like the hourly and above is the time frame where most of the trades are going to be, because we have had some strong pullbacks sideways. FTT did have a push higher and a pullback. Divergent. There's not too much there. We've had it's dipped down, we've had a push up, and it's pulling back down. It's just, there's nothing to work with. GRT. Okay, we are starting to get it pulling back in the cradle. Same with this. Pulling back. That's good. Okay, I don't think I've actually really shown you how to take the cradle, so I'll do that right now. It's just that I haven't been able to find a trade to use as an example because it's just pulling back. Okay, well, we're not getting any trend, so let's just take a hypothetical trade on Bitcoin. Let's go to the 4 hour. Okay, let's say this candle finishes right here and we get a green candle, because if we're going long, we want a green candle, small bullish candle, like that. Just pretend that's green, a green candle, and it's about to close. Okay. So what we want to do is wait for this candle to close. Just as it's about to close, within seconds, we want to be placing the trade. So that would be roughly our entry point. or you'd put it down where the price is, and then you'd put your target in. So if our stop loss is going to be, let's risk 2%. We want it to be below the previous candle. So 2%, and we make it just say that roughly. So it's almost a 1-to-1 ratio. So our entry would be 64.72, and our first stop loss would be 63.68, and take profit at 66.013. Okay, so what you want to do for your take profit, you want to sell 50% of your position. So let's say we have 100 USD trade. That means that when it reaches our target, we'd sell half of our position. It'd be a little bit over 50. Let's say it's 51. But instead of saying 100 USD, let's say 1 Bitcoin. 1 Bitcoin. We would sell 0.5 Bitcoin at our first target. Okay? But our stop loss at 66 would be our entire position. So we'd put 1 BTC. So what happens if you hit your target, you want to go back to your stop loss and change it to 0.5 Bitcoin. So that way, if it goes up, hits your target, you sell half, it comes back down, it hits your stop, you'll effectively break even. You won't lose anything, you won't gain anything. But let's just say it keeps on going. Okay? Well, that's going to be another art in itself, is learning when to take your profit. So you might want to do it in stages, you know, take 10, 20% out every time you do a 2, 3, 4, 5x sort of thing. That's an art in itself. But if you do have a nice runner, you probably want to start moving your stop loss up. You always want to have a predetermined amount you're going to risk before you enter the trade. That's a really rough intro. The other thing I should say, if you were making this trade on the 4-hour chart, you would want to go to double the time frame. So you'd go to the 8-hour chart to make sure the MACD is in confluence with the price as well, that it is trending on the higher time frame. So this is a hypothetical trade. I wouldn't take it. You have to do it on a case-by-case basis. And this is a really rough introduction, but I hope it helps. And if you want to learn more, you're going to have to complete the free course at tradercobb. So good luck with that, and keep your stop losses on and your targets, and good luck.